Jackie Flavin, Customer Insights Leader with Demco, and this is Open Book, our weekly conversation series with industry experts about how they're navigating COVID-19 challenges. Today, I'm joined by Gabe Patrick, Director of Library Media Services with Dallas Independent School District. How are you today?
I am fine. Thank you for inviting me to do this.
Oh, we're so lucky to have you here. Dallas is such a big district. I'm sure everybody is at least has some sense of Dallas, and the district itself I think has 150,000 or so students, right?
Yes, that is correct.
And 230 schools. That is a lot.
235 schools now.
235 schools. Wow. And you have 2 of the nation's top 20 high schools, right?
Yes.
That's awesome. And I was really excited to see that Dallas has been really investing a lot in its schools over the last few years. It seems like there's a lot of voter support and forward-looking leadership.
Yes, there is. Dallas, the district is over 100 years old. So we have some schools in our district that have surpassed their 100th birthday. And so the district has been putting a lot of effort into maintaining and changing out facilities as we need them.
That's awesome. We are so fortunate to have you here to share about your experience leading 235 schools through this pandemic. So maybe to start things off, I'm wondering, we're 2 months into the new school year. How are things going in Dallas?
I actually am very pleased that I am with Dallas ISD. I have talked to a lot of directors across the nation, and I think that our district has managed COVID well. Our cases are up in the district, but we're doing well to mitigate exposure. We've had 731 district cases since September the 28th. Part of that was 283 campus staff, 71 central staff, and 377 students. And when you consider we're a district of about 150,000, that's not bad when you look at the percentiles.
That's great. And the schools are, some are in person, some are remote, some are hybrid. Do I have that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Parents had they could decide whether they wanted their children to attend virtually or face-to-face. And so they have that option. Our high schools are hybrids where kids are kind of split up. So some go on one day, some go on another day. They're spraying weekly. If there is an outbreak at a school in a classroom is, put in quarantine.
Sure.
They're not closing down the whole schools. Now, if they see too many students are getting COVID in a school, then they do close down the school and do a deep cleaning.
That's great.
This summer, this has helped us move to a totally one-to-one student environment with technology. The PD was offered a lot this summer for teachers and librarians to beef up their skills. And I think that was wonderful. It allowed us all to grow. It really helped our teaching force because we have a very diverse staff in Dallas. And so it has allowed us all to take the time to really learn new skills. Everybody at every level has had to learn new skills.
That's great. Yeah, that's certainly probably very energizing and ultimately good. And it's, hopefully the stress levels haven't gotten too high. But I'm glad that everybody was able to pick up some professional development.
Well, I think the stress level is high, but I think the district is trying to address it as it comes up by keeping people informed. We have a COVID dashboard for our district, and it kind of it tells us where the hot spots are. Central staff is only allowed to visit one school a day. So, they're doing contact tracing so that they can be sure that kids are not exposed nor staff exposed very frequently. And so they're doing the best that they can. when you compare us to other large districts like El Paso, I think we're really doing well.
That's wonderful. That's really great to hear. I'm wondering, how have library services adapted to the new school year, to the new normal?
Well, we've had to do a lot of adaptations to be sure that we're servicing all of our children. In the past, we've had interlibrary loan, which we allowed students to borrow books from any school in our district. So one of our adaptations this summer has been to just do interlibrary loan within that local campus library. So if kids are in the classroom and they want to request a print book from the library, they just put an ILL on their campus collection. And the librarian will either deliver it or go in and put it in their cubby so that other kids are not touching their books. So that's one of the adaptations we've done. The other things that we've done is we've put out a protocol on how to handle print materials. And we have a period of quarantine. We had about 90,000 books out when COVID hit us last spring.
Wow.
Those books are coming back in. So we have a 5-day quarantine period that as those books came in this summer and in this fall, we kept boxes in the entry halls for the books would come in, they'd put them in the box, they'd label them, and then they would sit there for 5 days. Because by the time at the end of 5 days, almost 99.9% of the virus is gone. It doesn't stay very long on books at all. So that's one of the things that we've done. And then we put those books back into circulation. We have provided personal protection products for our librarians, for our students. They have plexiglass shields in the library. The circulation desk has a plexiglass shield. We provided extra supplies, wipes, sanitation, and gloves, and then more wipes, because we've asked that part of that protocol, when the books come in, they wipe them down. That cleans them up too. And then they go back to the shelf. So it's really working well. Another protocol that we have done, we started expanding our ebook collection last May, and we have expanded it over 7,000 volumes just this summer. So we really have added that. At the same time, we have a racial equity initiative within our district. So we're being sure that all the ebooks that we put in are balanced language and multiculturalism. So we've done that. And then to help get print books, because we know younger kids like print books, into the hands of our kids for our virtual learners, we're doing a Books to Go program where the parents can put a hold on the library book. They can contact the librarian and tell them when they want to pick it up. And then they just drive up and we put them in the car and then they drive away.
That's great.
Checked out for the kids. So those are some of the things that we're doing to help not only circulation, but help our readers too, because we don't want any more learning loss than we have to have from this summer. And I think librarians have all stepped up in our district, as with our teachers, and they have really taken a lot of PD, have really practiced the virtual learning environment. So I feel really good about what our district is doing.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, it's such a, I've always loved, educators and librarians, and I've always seen the value that they bring to students. And I think a lot more people are seeing that now, right? I mean, parents, they know how valuable, these books are to the kids, and they're seeing how hard everybody's working to make sure that the kids have what they need. So hopefully there's some appreciation coming back to you and your team.
Well, and I think parents have a better appreciation of what teachers do.
Totally.
And I've seen that. My own daughter has 2 kids that are in school, and she told me, she said, "Mom," she said, "I would not want to be a teacher." She said, the months she had to do it before they finally got back into daycare and a summer program, she said it was just too hard
Yeah.
to deal with it.
I would
we have a lot of empathy for our teachers and our parents and our librarians that are on the front lines.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to see people coming together as a team, like collaborating, and parents are getting more involved, and working closer with educators, and I think there are some potential bright spots. You mentioned the how your district is 1-to-1, and there are some equity campaigns for having make sure that the collection is diversified. I'm wondering, what are the most pressing issues in Dallas, and how are the libraries addressing those? And you touched on some, but I'm just wondering.
Well, I think always the most pressing issue for our district is safety. Safety for our students, safety for our parents, and safety for our staff. And I think our district has really worked hard at accomplishing those goals. And it's not ending, it's an ever forward moving kind of target. We constantly are having to reshift and refocus and learning as we go. We're in this just like everybody else, we're learning as we go. One of the other big challenges, I think, is how we've had to change from a face-to-face environment to a total virtual environment for over 6 months. And then we came back and we're kind of half and half. I know that's very difficult for some teachers that are dealing with their virtual students and their face-to-face students in the classroom. So librarians have had to take on many extra duties to help out in the schools. And I think that is really important. The teachers and the librarians have learned how to really focus virtually. And I think that's going to be a plus after we get out of this pandemic, is that I don't think we're going to go back just to face-to-face. It has allowed some flexibility in the district because we're meeting virtually, just like I'm meeting with you today on Zoom. And I don't think that's going to go away. And that really helps us. Before, if I needed to go to a meeting, it sometimes would take me 30 minutes to get there because we have about 300 square miles in our district.
Wow.
That's another good thing that we have learned out of this. So those are kind of the big rocks, I think, for what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
How is it going to impact us in post-pandemic? Like I said, I don't think virtual's going away. I think we're going to continue to have kind of a hybrid type of environment. Some of it's good, some of it is not as good. We hope to kind of recoup what we can do face-to-face, but at the same time, not throw out the virtual, because I think we need to have both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people are.
I have seen an increase in our ebook usage and on our online usage too.
That's great. Yeah, some learners are certainly thriving in the virtual environment, and that's wonderful. I'm wondering, how do you lead people through this pandemic? So there's so much uncertainty and so much information to process and decisions to make. How have you led all of your librarians through this pandemic? What has it been like as a leader?
I've always said I've been really good at herding cats. I point the way and then I stand behind and I kind of push. And that's really what we've been doing. We've offered the PD. We've encouraged them to take the PD. We show them how to utilize the PD because we're doing it at the same time. We have provided more PD than I've ever seen virtually. And so I think that's the big key right there. We have allowed our librarians to meet all summer long in PLCs where they can share their frustrations, their successes, what they've learned. And so it's become a very collaborative network. And I think that has been the big positive of all of this.
Yeah, there's in some funny ways more connection than we had before, even though we're physically not connected. There's people are finding ways to connect in new ways,
Well, they were forced to do it.
Right.
So they had to do that and they had to connect. For a while, we were getting to work from home. And all that did was probably put on weight on all of us. But at the same time, it allowed us some extra time to get out there and do the PD we needed to do at our level so that we could push that PD out to our staff.
Mm-hmm. I'm starting to get excited about the post-pandemic future, and certainly chatting with you, there's an energy to the future of libraries, and I'm wondering what is your vision for libraries post-pandemic in Dallas?
My vision is to see a librarian back in every school, to see that all of our kids are serviced in an equitable way, that everybody has the good stuff, because everybody deserves the good stuff. So those are some issues that I think. One of the other things I did, if our kids did not have internet at home, our district provided hotspots to allow them to get on the internet, and that was a big boon. Our technology department has worked hard. The schools have worked hard to be sure that that equipment went out from the building. It's really been a full district working together.
That's great. Yeah, I think there are some upsides, to all of this. And I just continue to be so impressed by all the work that the education leaders and librarians are doing. It's really quite amazing. Thank you for sharing what's going on in Dallas with us, and we're just so grateful for the opportunity to share your experience with other people.
Well, thank you very much for asking us to share those experiences.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.